We all know that surrogacy in the United States is exorbitantly expensive. But can you save money by bypassing your surrogacy agency altogether? Will independent surrogacy make your journey affordable? In this video, we're going to review your entire Indy Surrogacy budget, what you can cut, what are the unavoidable costs, and how affordable is it? So a typical U.S. surrogacy journey with a professional agency in the United States is going to cost $150,000 more or less. And with a price tag that high, you may be wondering, what are the ways that I can bring that down? What are the services that maybe I can cut that will reduce my fees? And what you're really asking is, can I do an independent surrogacy journey and will it save me money? Well, the answer is yes. An independent surrogacy journey can cut $30,000, $40,000 out of your budget. But to find out if that's really affordable and if your independent journey is going to be within reason for you financially, let's take a look at the budget. There are essentially 5 things in the budget that you need to know about. Some of those can be reduced, some of those can be eliminated. The first item, of course, is the agency fee. Agency fees in the United States cost about $20,000 to $30,000, right? And that is clearly an area that you can deduct from your budget right off the top if you're doing an independent journey. You're not working with an agency, so no agency fees. The second item in your budget is going to be the surrogate's compensation, and this is by far the largest component of your budget. And now, in your standard surrogacy journey in the U.S., surrogate's compensation is somewhere between $50,000 or $60,000. Now that includes her salary, what we call her base pay, that includes her benefits package, that includes her insurance premiums. Now you may be able to save some of that money if you find a surrogate who's willing to negotiate a little bit. And maybe you can bring that $50,000 to $60,000 number down to $40,000 to $50,000, right? So there's a little bit of savings there, but you're still gonna have to budget $40,000 at the minimum to pay your surrogate. The second item in your budget is going to be clinic fees. And clinic fees are obviously something that you cannot skip, right? You need the clinic's services, and they do essentially 3 things. They will evaluate your surrogate, make sure that she is capable of producing a pregnancy and likely to produce a pregnancy, and that she has a medical history and fertility history that's going to support your journey. But they also do your own IVF, which means egg retrievals and sperm donations and fertilization, incubation, and all of that. And then the clinic will do the embryo transfer, which includes all of the fertility preparations for your surrogate. All of that is going to cost you probably $20,000 to $25,000. And while you can possibly find sort of a small operation, a small IVF clinic somewhere locally, chances are you're going to end up paying more if you're working with a clinic that is not specialized in surrogacy, right? Clinics that don't specialize in surrogacy have a standard sort of average pregnancy rate per embryo transfer of about 47% versus a specialized surrogacy clinic which has a success rate per transfer of closer to 75%. So definitely by spending a little bit of extra money on your clinic and getting one that's specialized, you can improve your chance of success early and save having to pay for additional repetitive IVF cycles and embryo transfers. So the third component of your budget are going to be legal fees. And legal fees are absolutely required, although a lot of couples think that they can somehow save money by not having a surrogacy contract. You absolutely have to have a surrogacy contract because in most states in the US, a surrogacy contract is the law in order for you to successfully transfer the parental rights from your surrogate to the intended parents, right? Almost all of the 50 states where surrogacy is possible, some form of legislation, some form of court precedent requires that you have a standard contract in place, and that contract needs to be put in place and executed by a licensed lawyer in the jurisdiction where the surrogacy happens, which is going to be the place where the baby is going to be born. The second legal fee is going to come closer to the end of the pregnancy. This is a parentage order, right? And if it happens before the birth, it's a pre-birth order. If it happens after, it's a post-birth order. But this is absolutely legal requirement because that's the document, that's the court decision that replaces the surrogate's name on the birth certificate with the intended parents. Without that process, the surrogate mother remains the legal mother, and the intended parents often have no parental standing whatsoever. Those two processes, legal processes, are going to add about $8,000 or so to your budget. The final component of your budget are going to be sort of miscellaneous fees. And these are a little bit harder to understand and a little bit harder to predict. But they'll include things like travel expenses for your surrogate, if she needs to travel cross-country or even cross-state to go to your IVF clinic. If she does need to travel, there are childcare expenses, a babysitter while she's gone. Her medications are in this, are sort of in this category. And medications are going to be around $6,000, $7,000, right, in most cases. What I always tell parents is that you should keep a sort of contingency fee of about $10,000 to cover the costs of miscellaneous fees as you go through your program. Now, if you add all of those things up, right, you add all of those budget items up, you come to a total of about $100,000, $90,000 to $100,000. And maybe if you're good and you negotiate some of these fees, you can bring that down to $80,000. Now, $80,000 is a big savings over $150,000. Obviously, that is going to be $70,000 difference. But is that still enough to make your surrogacy journey affordable? Who knows, right? That's completely up to you. Most of my clients who come to me with the idea of an independent journey think they're going to spend maybe $30,000 or $40,000 on a journey, but that's really not very realistic. You also have to wonder about what are the services that you're going to have to take on if your agency is gone? What are the tasks that fall to the intended parents that are going to sort of take up their time and energy and require some expertise? For that, we're going to talk about that in part 2 of this video, where we're going to go through the exact task list that intended parents need to go through for their independent journey. I'm Bill Houghton. I'm the founder of Sensible Surrogacy. If you would like to know more about any of these topics, you should be able to find them online at the Surrogacy Guide at our website, sensiblesurrogacy.com. /surrogacy guide, or you can get information from one of our consultants by sending us an email at info@sensiblesurrogacy.com. We love to answer questions and basically help couples who are thinking about surrogacy and are curious about how things work and whether it's right for them. All right? You can also find our videos here or on our YouTube channel, and you should check those out. And we'll see you there.